March 26, 2015. A walk on the beach renews me. Eating dinner at one of my favorite dives, and then a walk on the beach, and thus will have been an excellent day. Just gave a presentation on social marketing to the media marketing class at Eckerd College, and someone left a sweet note saying how much they appreciate me. It was short. Let's go to March 29th, 2015. Howie and Babylon. This email from Howie to one of our larger donors shows you how smart he is and how much he is helping the animals. The senator they are talking about is Senator Lesniak from New Jersey. To Bill, wildlife trafficking is a complex problem. Most of its solutions require complex coordination of nations and agencies and are generally difficult to achieve, although possible. But there is one very, very simple, very, very doable action we can take domestically that could have a significant impact that has not achieved broad awareness. I think the senator could do a great service to animals and everyone in attendance by devoting at least part of his keynote talk to the way in which the rampant breeding of tigers in the United States enormously hampers our ability to influence other nations, particularly China, to adopt policies and take actions to stop the trade in tiger parts, rhino horns, and ivory. There is a fantastic new resource on the subject of trafficking in the products from these species called Blood of the Tiger by Judy Mills. The book discusses rhino horn and ivory, in addition to tiger parts. Judy has spent decades operating both at the highest advocacy levels as a representative to CITES and on the ground doing undercover work. She is privy to conversations that are not found anywhere else. China is farming tigers and apparently has plans to do the same with other species. The Chinese argue, wrongly, that by supplying the market demand from the farms, they will lower poaching in the wild. The opposite is true. They will expand the market demand and increase poaching for two reasons. First, the animals from the wild will always be viewed as the premium product. Second, it is simply cheaper to poach them than to farm. But when representatives from the U.S. government and non-government organizations make this case, China points to the thousands of tigers in backyards and roadside zoos in the U.S., and the uncontrolled and untracked breeding, and argues rightly that we have no way to know how many of the U.S. tigers are finding their way into the domestic and international trafficking trade. So who are we to demand that China stop breeding? They make the valid point that at least they know where their tigers are. Senator Lesniak previously took action to try and address the lack of tracking with his New Jersey bill that passed but was not signed by the governor. The total solution is a federal bill that would end private possession and breeding of tigers with limited exceptions like AZA-accredited zoos. That bill, H.R. 1998, Senate 1381, ended the 2014 session with 119 co-sponsors in the House and a very positive Senate hearing where the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service supported the bill and later provided suggestions to the drafters for tightening it further. It is expected to be reintroduced with some modifications soon. For the upcoming meeting, I think what some participants may not have heard much or anything about is the powerful negative impact that domestic breeding of tigers is having on the credibility of the U.S. as it tries to attack trafficking by leading other nations in the opposition to the Chinese plan to farm these species. I think explaining this in his talk could do a great service to efforts to preserve these animals in the wild. If this is of interest, I would strongly urge Senator to invite Judy Mills to meet with him. She is in D.C. Bill, thanks for asking for my input. Signed, Eckerd Baskin. I love that guy.